We're the Millers. Never really liked the title. I thought it should have been We Are the Millers, but you know, whatever. So, We're the Millers. This movie was funny. It stars that guy from Horrible Bosses, that kid from the Narnia movies, that girl from that one TV show, I think, and Jennifer Aniston from Friends. Yeah, she's the only person who I know the actual name of. It's not weird. It's not weird. So what's the story? So this loser, basically, it's the straightest way to put it. Not the nicest way, but the straightest way. He's a loser. He sells pot around his town. Apparently he's really good at it, I guess. But one day he ticks off these guys who were picking on this dweeb kid in his building, and they steal all his cash, and his personal cash, and his drug stash. And so he goes to his boss and he's like, I kind of lost all the pot. And he's like, well, okay, that's fine. Just go down to Mexico and get a smidge of pot for me. And, you know, it's frowned upon in some places, but, you know, whatever. So he gets Jennifer Aniston, who is this cheap stripper, to pose as his wife. He gets this girl, which is this little runaway child, to pose as his daughter. And he gets the dweeb kid to pose as his son. They get all the nice haircuts and the nice clothes and everything and look like a great, really annoying American family. You know those people at the border when they've got the big RV and they're like, hi, we're just going to Mexico for a little family vacation. Want to see some of our pictures? And people at the border are like, oh my gosh, just go, please. Well, that's exactly what they were thinking. Like, if we go across looking like this really annoying dweeby family, then we won't get a second look, which is pretty much what happens. Then they get across the border, they pick up the smidge of pot, which turns out to be like 2 tons of pot. And then they somehow get across the Mexican border again. Except the only reason they were able to actually get back on there is because the dogs smelled the pot, but then it turned out there was these like Mexican kids hiding under the RV. They ran out, the cops were like, oh, that's what the dog was smelling, they ran off, and then they drove across the border. And right around then was the end to a really entertaining like 40-45 minute movie. The only problem is, a movie can't be 45 minutes long. They have to extend it to be about an hour and 40 minutes. So that's an hour longer than you wanted it to be. And so there's an overarching story about how the people that gave them the pot actually thought that they were stealing it from somebody else because they used a fake name that ended up being the real name of somebody, so they're chasing them, and it gets after every once in a while you'll sort of forget about them and then they'll show up again, but you know, it got some pretty funny laughs out of it. It was just a little annoying. And then there's this whole part with this like weird other family that they find, and the guy turns out to be a cop. And you know, that part was weird too, but it was still hilarious. And then there's this part when they're with the other family and they're in their RV, and the daughter from the other family looks in their RV, and it does not make sense unless you were, it doesn't make sense out of context, but in context it was hilarious to watch her reaction and everything. And by the end they sort of find this family within themselves, and I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I didn't see it coming and I really like it. I really like the ending and I really like the movie. In the end I give it 8 pounds of pot out of 10. And yeah, that was about it. See you tomorrow with the next movie review, and until next time I bid you all goodbye.